And maybe we could talk a little bit about what makes Tom Steyer so bad. I'm really disheartened by seeing so many of these celebrities, etc. It seems like Roger Waters is the only redeemable celebrity these days. But what makes him so bad? I mean, he's posturing himself as this savior for the working class. He's the only one that's going to tax the billionaires. But what makes him particularly insidiously malevolent, if you will?
Sure. So I'll start with the part where there's been so many progressives and others that have endorsed him, right? I mean, Democratic Socialists of America, DSA California, endorsed a billionaire that is currently trying to buy election. CARE Action, Council on American Islamic Relations, their C4 endorsed Tom Steyer. So the moral bankruptcy, is spreading from the kind of core rot. But that also brings us to the core sort of deficiency in Steyer, which is that he is actively purchasing an election, right? There's a Latino social media influencer called Food's Gone Wild. It came out that he was paid $75,000 to do a 3-minute segment with Tom Steyer. Quentin Quarantino, Tommy. Right. Also paid by Tom Steyer. Tom Steyer has paid $200 million out of his own pocket to purchase this election. And let's just be clear. I debated Tom Steyer, okay? California Faculty Association endorsement process. It was 3 of us, me, Steyer, and Ian Calderon. Calderon tried to fight back. Poor baby. Steyer tapped out after the second question. He just kept his responses short because he knew that he had no chance to win that room or to debate me. And when we left the room, he just looked at me and he said, "Amazing job. Never seen anything like it," and walked out.
Wow. So, wait, where can we see where
you can't because they'll never release the video. These debates behind closed doors and endorsement processes, they are under lock and key because I've undressed these candidates. And the only reason why I mention it now with respect to Steyer is, does anyone think that this mediocre fraud would have viability in the gubernatorial race had he not purchased it? If right, do you see my point? So the first part, yes, he's odious because he's actively purchasing an election, and 92% of Americans say that we don't want our elections to go to the highest bidder because 90% of American elections are won by the candidate that spends the most, and we pretend across the board that we don't want this. But now you see all of these Democrat shills and so-called progressives completely overlooking this most cynical manipulation by an unrepentant capitalist, which brings me to the direct answer to your question, right? He made hundreds of millions of dollars on private prisons and ICE detention facilities, as well as you pointed out, fossil fuels. And he now does this cute white grandpa routine, and people are supposed to overlook this. He's like, no, I'm one of the good guys now. And what I've said is like, it's like saying, I used to run a slave breeding plantation. But now I'm one of the good guys, right? Now, did you give any of the money back? No, I did not. Did you free any of the people that were enslaved? No, I did not, right? And to the core of your audience, and I'll stop before we get into Becerra, Steyer, anti-BDS. He wants it to still be illegal for you to boycott, divest, or sanction the state of Israel. He has been pro AB 715. AB 715 was the legislation that Gavin Newsom also endorsed that makes it illegal to teach real Palestinian history. You can essentially be criminalized for telling the truth about Israel in the California educational system. Tom Steyer still, to this day, refuses to call Gaza a genocide.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.